Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Here Be Heroes, episode 4/week 4. I actually think I call them different things in different places, because I'm very consistent. We have a guest doggo, as we often do. I have dice on the screen. It's a mess. Let me clean it up for you. Hey, hello, welcome. This is my game. These are my players. How is everyone?
Pretty good.
Awake.
That's good, Mr. Australian. I think I just realized that I adjusted this screen, this overlay, and I think I made everyone's cameras bigger aside from myself. I think I'm kind of feeling a little claustrophobic right now. I'll have to adjust that next time. Anyway, we are going to continue where we left off, where the party of the Greyfists, with a new member, Eleanor Ornhelm, were invited to the Baroness's yearly feast, which of course went wrong because it has to. There's no way it doesn't. You know this. You're in a D&D game. You're invited to a feast. It does not go well. It cannot go well.
I made a friend.
I think it went pretty well. I mean, I got to steal something. I'm good.
You made a I want to say love interest, a crush. That's the phrase I'm thinking of. You got a crush.
Yeah.
And
very successful crush.
Yes,
So far.
the Baroness's yearly feast was attacked by creatures of nature, and then this giant appeared and boomed and yelled. You worked out that they are a Planavar, who are basically forest giants who you don't know, but you were tasked to kill this man, to hunt this giant and to kill it, and that is what you're doing. You have traveled from Slate Cove.
We were told to take its head.
Yes, you were told to take his head. This is you're part of the Northmen. You're very much like beheadings and proof of death. You know,
Heads or it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like in other cultures, it might be like, yes, well that would be fine. Now here's your goal, and like, show us the fucking head. Is more how it goes here. So you have that contract, and you actually headed off to Jotunskogr, which is the old giant's forest, linked to the old giant civilization. We actually met more Planavar, where you essentially convinced them, like, look, no, the person we're trying to hunt is not actually part of like your clan. We just want help. We want to go through and maybe help. And they said, you must complete the trials. And you're like, we'll complete the trials.
We love those.
And, well, exactly, as you said last time, you're 1 for 0 on trials. So
It's true. We've done
I really love that line because I don't know. I love like self-parody very much.
I still love that throughout all of that, Virik had no idea what was going on until someone said, "We're gonna go do a trial."
The only
now."
person who can't speak giant, yeah. This is
Right,
quite a
yeah.
good game because most of your characters can speak most of the same languages, aside from like 1 or 2 missing ones, which is really nice. But I think Tobias can't speak Elvish as well. Is that?
I can speak Elvish. My only languages are Elvish and Giant.
Someone can't. Never mind.
You can also speak common.
And
Yeah.
Common.
Don't look. Let's
Human.
not sell yourself short there.
The greatest language.
Well,
And it's, it lacks complexity.
it's very.
And that's literally where we left off with the party going into this old ruin of a giant structure to complete the trial. Of course, you don't know much about it because they are a giant. They do not use many words. You were just kind of like pushed into this ruin. You got attacked by a dark mantle that kind of gooped all over Eleanor. And now we're going to continue. So, you're traveling through this old ruin. Something of note is that Virik cast dancing lights on all of you. You all have lights above your heads that are allowing you to travel with relative ease. Dancing lights are what? They're like a 5/5 light?
I can hit dancing lights for you.
I would
Basically.
appreciate that.
Boop.
Why am I
Torch.
looking there? It's much bigger here.
They go a
dim
lot
light
further
in a
than I
10-foot radius? That is even better, like the same as what I thought, but slightly worse. Which makes sense because you have dark vision, so it allows you to actually see with complete clarity where you can see. It allows the rest of them
it where I'm looking instead of on me.
exactly.
While everyone else has
where everyone else has it above their heads. Of course, Barut actually has dark vision as well, but you can't do the same trick to him that you're doing to you. That would be a little impractical. But sometimes you move the lights in the right places in the right moments.
If he asks, I will.
Exactly, when you're like looking at something. You're currently stumbling through this old giant ruin. I mean, it is clearly belongs to the giants, not just because it was found outside a forest giant village, but just it's vast. It's so huge. The ceilings go up around 40 feet, and the corridors, actually the corridor you're walking through right now, is very large to you, but to a giant would be maybe a little tight. Maybe it's a little entry corridor. You're not really entirely sure. Barut is currently trying to work out what the meaning of this corridor is and all that.
Taking extremely detailed notes of the architecture, the design, this general structure, the layout, as much detail as possible.
One of the things with these giant ruins is similar to dwarven construction, but not to the extent, is that everything has some degree of embellishment and engraving. Often it's just a very simple sort of like square looping pattern that just makes it look a little more interesting than a normal wall. And something you'd notice, Barut, just with your general awareness, actually Barut and Tobias would notice, is that this ruin is very barely a ruin at all. Aside from the fact that it's not in use. It is actually very, very well maintained, perhaps because it has some sort of importance to this village. And it's in this village, which in this area protected by Planivar, which really stops people from going in and raiding the tombs. Why don't you all give me perception checks?
Why don't we? Bam.
Oh no.
Screen layout slightly.
That's pretty good.
Oh wait, no, mine wasn't too bad. Okay.
No,
that was
17
my
real
roll.
good. And actually, they're all good considering you're level 2, right?
Considering I have a negative -1 to modifier.
With 18, yeah, that's amazing. So you're looking around as you're going forward. You're going forward a little cautiously with your weapons out because you just had a dark mantle drop on your head. And, and you actually look up and there's like baby ones up there. But there's not any more that are gonna like actually come and drop at you. But at least one of you is probably paying attention to the ceiling, and it's Tobias, who is very focused on the ceiling. And occasionally there's areas where sort of roots have broken through the ruins, and they're very large roots of very large trees. I mean, you were out there; the trees in this forest are humongous. But there's nothing on the ceiling that's going to attack you. As you're looking forward, Virik and Aelnor, who actually are the two people in front of the party right now, you notice you get closer and closer to where this place opens up a lot more. You notice what looks like water on the ground, like just a little bit of shimmer in the blue light of your dancing light spell, Virik. And then you start to notice that's not water. That's the reflection of scales, small moving scales, a patch of snakes. Kind of bluish snakes, actually, which reflect quite brightly in the light. And it's almost, maybe when you go, like, turn to the party to be like, oh, these are here. It's when Tobias's sort of uncanny danger sense starts to kick in because there are wild animals nearby that don't like big stomping creatures stomping around in their big feet.
Yep.
But they don't like charge at you or anything, but there is a significant number of these snakes just sort of in sort of sometimes large amounts of snakes sort of congregate in like a weird puddle. It's very unsettling to look at. It's gloomy as well, which makes it it looks unholy, Aelnor. It looks unholy altogether.
Is there anything I can climb up on?
So like I said, these walls do actually have a level of embellishment, which is either engraved or outset. So actually, you could try to climb on these walls and like climb over. It's one of those things where, because it is a giant area, you could get maybe even like 6 to 8 inches of like stone walkway. You could kind of sidle your way along if you actually tried. That could be an acrobatics check.
I'm not going to do that immediately because if I fail, I'm just going to fall into a field of snakes, and that's great.
I believe the term was puddle.
Puddle of snakes.
Puddle of
Sorry. Yep.
Puddle of snakes.
Can I use my dancing lights to see what's on the other side of it? Because I would be able to see.
Yeah, yeah. When you move your dancing lights through, because your dark vision is so much larger, to the rest of you, the light does. You can still see the light in the distance. You just can't really see how it's being cast or the details very much. When you cast the light into the distance, you see that kind of beyond this puddle of snakes is a little bit more of this walkway, and then it appears to open up into a much bigger chamber, and that's really as much as you can see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like this area opens up after that. Anyone got ideas?
Well,
That's a lot of snakes. Like, I've never dealt with that many snakes.
we can just avoid the snakes altogether. Just move around them. They don't seem to be aggressive.
They definitely don't like your presence, and it's the kind of thing where snakes, when they're upset, they kind of rile back
It's
slightly.
posture.
Yeah, they're posturing. They're not like
They're
attacking,
not happy.
but they're not.
Or
If we
maybe-
get too
Right,
close,
them
they
away?
will. Oh, that's not a bad idea.
What was that?
Try to frighten them away.
I don't think I'm particularly frightening, but I'm all right with that idea.
Does
Can we
anyone
try
have
and-
any magic? Any fire, maybe?
Do we have anything that could move them to one side?
A big stick.
I'm gonna try and like move the dancing light over the top of them, like right above them, and see what they do to it. If they try
Absolutely.
and like lash.
When you do that, because you know you're doing this quite a little bit beyond, you actually notice that in their sort of area, it seems to be the most damaged area of this cave altogether, where it opens up a bit more just due to deterioration, probably because maybe animals have come here for whatever reason, right? What? I guess give me an animal handling check.
Ooh, okay, I like
But I
it.
just want to point out that like it does kind of open up more into a natural cave there. The floors of this whole place are, of course, much more worn down than everything else because it's been walked on for, I mean, Barut can tell you, probably tens of thousands of
I'll
years.
take it. I like do snake charming with the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? You start moving the little mote of light back and forth, and it takes a little bit of time, maybe a minute, for them all to be sort of mesmerized with it, and some of them kind of like lurch out at it. When one of them lurches out, kind of like these flaps at the side of the snake open up, and it kind of like glides at it, and goes through it, because it's a magical light. And then they kind of start jumping at it, which is when you start moving it further into the cavern,
Yeah.
probably trying to basically like shepherd the snakes like away, just away from you,
I love it.
in
Yep.
front.
So while I'm doing that, I'm like, they have wings. I believe they can fly.
Ah, yes, flying snakes.
Oh, this looks fantastic. And I'm
But
going
of
to try
course.
to move them to like so that it opens up after this.
It
door.
opens up into a grand, very impressive chamber. You
Okay.
could kind of move it into one of the corners.
That's what I'm
you
trying.
looking
That's
around
what I
with,
think everyone's trying.
yeah, what you looking around with your dark vision, you can see that it's kind of I suppose the best way to word it is a I completely lost my train of thought. Never mind.
Grand chamber.
Oh, there doesn't appear that this place goes on much more than this. And while it is a grand chamber and it is impressive, it's not amazingly huge. It's probably bigger than every room any of you have been in, of course. And there's a level of height to this where here the ceilings go up to 60 foot or around so, to the point where most of you look up and can't see anything. I mean, aside from the humans who, that's how it works anyway. But you kind of usher them into a corner. In this room, there are pillars and structures. It's almost like if you imagine there's a central room and then kind of a walkway outside of it, where it's a little bit tighter. Barut, you probably figure a giant really couldn't fit in there, but the Planavar are smaller now. Maybe they were smaller giants anyway. You don't really know.
Right.
The main thing of importance is a vast statue on a raised area in the back middle of this chamber. It is a statue of a giant, which is actually a sort of realistically sized giant by your reckoning. It kind of got as big as that giant you saw earlier, which was around 20 foot or so. This stone statue is of brilliant construction. It is of a bearded giant who is holding his hands on an archway. And the archway is just kind of, again, like just incredibly large archway. And at the bottom of that is sort of the decorated stone below, and like the giant's feet and all that sort of thing. And on the sides of this raised area appear to be sort of giant writings and things, like clearly a place of worship or respect or something of the sort.
So I'm just sort of doing this corner constantly.
Yeah, you just put it in a corner.
Got them under control.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
gonna
no one go over there.
I'm gonna go up to the statue, and specifically looking at the giant writings. I'm gonna see what they say. Hopefully, if they're not too deteriorated.
They were very, very good quality. They are a series of writings about the trial of the there's a phrase that you may have heard before that is used by giants. Why don't you actually give me either history or religion rolls? Anyone who would sort of be listening, because he would be like saying things out loud, and you're seeing a statue of a big creature. So anyone can give either of those rolls if they wish.
Sure. What were the rolls
That's
again?
giant.
History or religion.
Thank you.
So, yep, he's definitely speaking
Mind
giant.
you,
Sounds like it.
I don't know that much. I'm just going with what I'm.
I am not proficient in either of those things.
You're a ranger, mate.
Yep.
Are you gonna roll one?
No.
Okay. When you're looking at it, Aelinor's heard this phrase before, because Aelinor's gone drinking with some Borovar at some points. There is a phrase in Giant which you say out loud, and she maybe called to challenge Magnonir, which is essentially Magnonir was the god emperor of the old Jotun civilization. That's really all you know about it. The two of you is a godlike figure that ruled. The phrase to challenge Magnonir is kind of refers to an act that is foolish and stupid, but if it succeeds, is immensely worth it. Because one of the things that this god giant king did is if someone challenged him either in combat or by words or by however, and he was impressed, he would let them live and maybe even give them honors and that sort of thing. If you were good enough to challenge successfully, there was a great deal of respect in it. And it's kind of a phrase that, even though most giants, like Borovar, Goliath, don't worship Magnonir, most of them, other giants do, by your reckoning, which is why this place is probably so pristine. It's just sort of a phrase in their lexicon, which they use quite a lot, because the whole thing about Boromir is that they love challenging each other and other people and feats of strength and things. So when you're going over the writings, that phrase is sort of how it is described. It also says, in Giant, of course, that the sins of those who challenge will be pitted against them.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Very cool.
Interesting.
Onward.
I don't. What?
Your sins.
The sins of those who challenge will be pitted against them.
Oh, this should be interesting. I'm still just. I don't want them moving from that corner.
They're in the corner for now.
Well, the only main feature here is the statue. I imagine it might not be a statue, or perhaps it is, and perhaps it's something else altogether. Who knows? I'd like to look at it closer.
But as it does that, can I try and pop the light out of existence and then move, put a light closer to me so I can see if they're going to move if the light's not there?
Oh, when you do that, they immediately start coming towards the light.
Oh no, okay, put it back.
And then you move it back. Yeah. You have kind of tricked these snakes into following light.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that light there, and I'm just gonna
Maybe take the lights off of our heads as well, just for safety's sake.
and I'll put all the lights there. So there's all 4 lights there.
And the
So
humans
snake
are lost to darkness.
We should. I don't know. Is the dancing a different? Because you said they were blue, right? So they're a blue light as opposed to what a
I
torch
mean, I
light
can
would
just
be.
light a torch.
I would.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
would toss them a torch
trying
if
to
they don't
do.
have one.
Yeah,
I
and then
definitely
you
have torches.
light
I
a
will
torch.
strike up a
Yeah.
torch. And I mean,
'Cause they're following the blue light. They might follow the red light as well, but there's less of a chance.
Well,
Better
that's a
safe
light
than
now as well. So
Yeah.
if this trial is us facing our sins, we should be fine. Because I don't imagine many of my past sins can hold a sword very well. So,
this will be fun. Remembering everything from the Underdark.
Yeah, you're a drow.
It's just like a moment of reflection of like,
I want
This
to,
could be interesting.
It might not be literal. That's the other
True.
thing.
that's the problem with these things. They never are.
Well, we're also translating from another language. And as much as I speak giant, it's not my first language.
Yeah, the
I
word
don't
for
know.
sin is very similar to like food. Like, come on.
You know, my past foods could be held against me.
You just get real bad
We
stomach
all know
upset.
how those
your
nights go.
challenge.
So how do we start it? Does one of us have to like catch it or something?
I don't know. Well, no time like the present. There's an archway.
Ignore that I'm flicking through a book.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't now that you've brought it.
I wanna
I'm not gonna sneak.
I want to look closely at the statue, but But what I mean by look closely is stand back from.
You're not
it,
gonna touch it, but you're gonna look.
Not touch it. I'm
Look
gonna
with your
look.
eyes, not with your hands.
Exactly.
Investigation check, or perception check, because it's one of the things where you're looking more than you're like
I'm-
touching and feeling, and yeah, it's more a perception.
Okay, I'll give you a perception then.
So careful perception, but
It's
Ooh.
not a very good
Ooh,
perception.
no.
ultimately, the torchlight you create does like you are seeing the legs of this giant, and most of the archway. The archway is sort of kind of half the size of the giant. He very easily rests his hands on top of it, like someone would rest their hands on like a desk. The archway appears to have runic work all along it, but then everything here does. Absolutely everything has a level of embellishment of some way, in some form. You can't really tell what might be important and what isn't. You've been in dwarven cities before, Barut, and they just put them on everything. You don't
yeah.
know what might be relevant, and you can't really see much like further up on the statue.
I wish I had spent more time studying giants.
As you're like doing this, Tobias is kind of a practical guy. I'm gonna be like running my hands across this thing, like looking for traps or like switches or any kind of secret
While you're doing
compartments.
that, I'm gonna back up.
Give me an investigation check.
You want what, sorry?
Investigation check.
Sure.
Yeah, Varric's gonna slink towards a wall as he goes to touch it.
Oh,
damn!
I felt that coming. I felt
Yeah.
a tingle in the force, and I felt a crit coming. I seriously did. One of the things
Well,
you go, and it might even be something that like someone like Aelinor chuckles at, is you see the feet of this giant. He's not wearing boots or anything. You start like kind of running your hands over the giant feet on this giant statue of a giant. And you actually find at some point that one of the toenails removes.
Oh, no way.
You kind of push it aside, and in there is a tiny little treasure trove. You actually see a couple of giant-sized gold coins. You actually you sort of start taking them out and counting. Actually, it looks like about 60 of them, as well as a few giant-sized potions. Actually,
When you
two
say the
potions, I think.
giant-sized coins, how big are we talking? Like,
They're enough that you can easily put them in their bag. Like, if you imagine, like, a normal coin is probably, like, that big or so, because especially they don't have a lot of materials to make coins out of in
Right.
this era. You actually have pretty small coins. They're probably, like, the size of your hand. You know?
okay, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna, like,
yeah.
pick up a couple of these and look to our party and be like, I found some fancy dinner plates.
I don't think
Ooh,
those are
okay.
dinner plates.
and these potions,
Like the size of like a wine bottle.
Oh,
and there's wine in here too. It's like that, right?
Well, I guess they've got to eat sometime, and I'm gonna take a look at them if you're showing them off.
Yeah, I'm gonna also. I'll put that stuff in the party loot. It was how many? 60 giant
60 coins and 2 healing potions. And then you continue looking over the statue. You sort of come to the conclusion it doesn't seem to be trapped or anything, but this archway is definitely magical in some way. You don't really know the specifics of it, but something in your sort of gut tingles, and it's not the food of your past coming back to haunt you. It's almost like that sort of magic inside you that you've been starting to feel, Tobias, is reacting to this archway. The magic inside you, which I mean Barut has been trying to explain, is very connected to nature and fireflies as well. It kind of feels a little disconnected to this slightly, and then you figure that this archway is very definitely a portal of some kind, but the fact that you can't find any kind of activation of it, and then you start thinking more as you step back and you look over this whole thing, that you need to challenge him.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I will in this case.
Oh, I'll also say, as you're sort of looking around the floor and things, you notice ash and soot.
Oh, perfect. This bodes well. Sorry, what was the name of the giant?
Magnonir.
Sorry, what?
Magnonir. I can actually put it in chat.
Magnonir. Okay.
It's a giant name. You're gonna have to get used to it, Josiah. Everywhere has dumb names because it's a fancy land. You ain't gonna find a gnome called Steve in Jarviskjir unless, I mean, he'll have a story to tell if you do.
I just draw my 2 short swords and point up at the statue with one of them and just say, Magnonir, I challenge thee.
And as you do,
real far back
the portal starts to spark and light into a blaze of flame. And from the fire, kind of pulling itself out of the archway, as tall as the archway is, around 10 foot, this humanoid figure made of fire and ash of soot sort of drags out, and it seems to look down on you, Tobias, and then very quickly shrinks to your size, to kind of a fiery, ashy, blackened version of Tobias that sort of lumbers in front of you for a few moments before, like, launching with great and terrible speed and a shriek of roaring flame towards you. And this is when I prepare the battle map.
Is that? Yeah.
Quick, everyone, put out your lights and the snakes will go for it.
That actually is not a bad idea.
It's not a terrible idea.
I mean,
we can see it. I mean,
one of the few things that is great about that plan, and believe me, there are only a few things that are great about that plan, is that it will deal with one of our problems.
yeah.
The snakes will surely be incinerated.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to do much to the thing, but the snakes are
a problem at this point. Like, they're so taken care of, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I just realized I actually didn't put like a statue on this map, so I'm gonna put like a quick little statue there for you.
My immersion is
okay.
I was gonna be like, oh no, you can like, you know, there is a statue, but like, no, I want to like block off where you can't walk yourselves. You guys probably would have just been sort of like nearby, behind him for a good couple of steps, and Varric is a bit further away because there's snakes that I need to create.
The snake tamer.
Varric should have very quickly figured about the snake, so this could be bad. Like, realistically, the second he sees snakes, he's gonna worry about that thing.
Just leave the dancing lights there.
They only last for 1 minute in concentration, so...
Yeah, but it's one of those things you can reset.
Yeah.
But it's when your concentration breaks.
Yeah, so we got about a minute till Varric forgets.
Okay, so at this point, my dear friends, could you roll initiative?
Oh wow, okay. This is a big room.
It's a giant-sized, like, prayer
Yeah.
chamber, you know?
Is that big room?
It's a big room.
I'm actually gonna zoom out because holy crap.
Oh, there we go. Eleanor, always ready for battle.
That was real good.
Right?
I did
I
not
have
put...
no bonus. Men should have either. It's fantastic.
That's great.
You're just like an angry warrior woman. You
Oh,
have
damn.
good initiative. It's just how
I
it
thought my
works.
initiative was good.
No, the game knows. That's
The game,
thing.
yeah, the game knows who should be good and who should be bad. They know if you're naughty. They know if you're nice. They know when you're sleeping. Blah blah blah. Now we get to do some dice rolls. Yay!
Does the fiery creature emit light from itself?
It
That's what
actually does.
Okay.
I will put that on right now. I just hadn't done that yet because I'm a bad boy.
That's a lot of pillars. That's scary.
I don't want to.
Unfortunately, I cannot see what we're supposed to be fighting.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
ready
now
for it.
I'm worried about what happens to my boomerang.
Okay, Eleanor, you kind of, as he starts to get in the right position, you actually kind of have the same thought process he does, maybe a couple moments too late. You kind of ready your sword, and then this thing is probably, while it's shrinking into this size, you probably start running.
Alright, so my turn?
Yeah. You start.
I'm run towards it. Fine.
Sorry, the battle music was a bit loud.
I could actually move over here if I just go in a straight line, so we'll do that. Sorry, but without the squares, it's a little hard for me to tell distance.
Yeah, they're there. They're just faint because they are the wrong color. They are meant to be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I do see them.
There we go.
There they are.
Yeah. They. My screens are like put on the dark range of the color spectrum, so like I could see that real easily. But then I forget that some of you like light.
Alright, and I will bonus action cast Divine Favor.
Oh yeah, Divine
Yeah.
Favor. The power of the spell that no one uses, but is actually really cool.
It's like worse,
I use that
Hunter's Mark.
Yeah.
You swing at
It's
this
very-
thing as it's shrinking down, and while it kind of ends up looking like Tobias, it doesn't really have legs in the kind of way
I was
fire
thinking like
elementals
Tobias's
do.
fight. I might have to back off on this one. I don't know.
As you like swing
Yeah.
at it, it kind of shrinks down, and just your shot ends up just getting like sort of a smoky plume instead.
Alright, that's my turn.
Varric, the snake charmer.
Yep. Well, he's gonna leave his dancing lights up there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, I should put like a little. I'll put like a little ball line up there for you guys while you're doing your turn.
Yeah. Okay, so that is exactly perfect. Okay.
The most fun thing
Boomerang
of being a DM
time.
in Pro Roll 20, making sure the lights are in the right place.
No.
Yeah, you swing at this thing again. It was shrinking down.
Yep. Let's see if I can
Just
catch
not
my
a
boomerang.
hit.
Nope. My boomerang's gone. Where does it end up?
One moment. It will end up somewhere
I'll draw it.
somewhere fun.
Don't
where
be
did
the
you end up
snakes.
being?
Don't be that cruel.
Oh no, it's gonna end up behind the statue. Of course, it's gonna
Oh,
end
okay,
up behind
sorry.
the statue back here. Clank, clank,
Oh,
clank.
there. Okay, cool.
I was gonna say put it on the helmet, make him climb.
The statue isn't wearing a helmet.
Ah,
It's just
Fair
I
enough.
didn't draw a statue of Magnonir for this event.
Fair enough.
Then is the challenger, who actually will just step forward away from Aelnor. You get an attack of opportunity at him because he steps away.
Yeah, might as well. I don't know what the rules are for this yet, but I guess we're gonna find out.
I guess we will.
That's a hit.
Nice. But I rolled the wrong thing for that one, so I have to add D4.
Do you have to re-roll any of those? No.
Yeah, I'm supposed to re-roll it, but I don't care that much.
Yeah, like it's kind of like not really worth re-rolling two sometimes, but that it was
There you
worth
go.
it because you got a little upgrade. You actually do swing at this thing as it starts moving away. Like it looks down at you with Tobias's face and kind of like brushes you off as it moves aside, and then you just sort of like swing wildly at its side, and it hacks into the back of the thing, which is sort of like the blackened outside cracks open, and where blood would ooze out, just like fire and magma sort of bubbles and bursts out. It actually does recoil and flinch, but it doesn't stop its approach to Tobias. I just need to minus the health that you did right there, because you are a heavy hitter. And then it will reach out to Tobias, just sort of like moving, when like moving away, and then very quickly, slow then fast, try to grab you. And what's your AC?
15.
Oh, it hits a 16. Give me a dexterity save.
I would love to. 16.
It grabs you, dealing 7 bludgeoning damage, and when it tries to like grab you, and you start shaking it off, you see like the sleeve of your armor set fire, which you very quickly manage to like roll and either tear it off or pat it out. And then it is actually going to try and swing at you again, but the second attack, because you sort of dodged out of the way, is just sort of a miss as it sort of just wails into the air.
Okay.
Next up is you.
That's a little spooky. I will use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on him, and then try to stab it with one of my swords.
That's
a
it.
20 hit.
Yeah. Oh, that's good damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
He's
sort
not a monstrosity, I assume.
No, elemental. It's made of fire, man.
Yeah.
And you probably a face stab. It's just when you pull away, it doesn't start reforming or anything like that, but it's just, it doesn't stop moving.
Yeah.
And
That's my turn, and I just kind of look to my companions here, and I'm like, I guess these are my past sins. And that's my turn.
you got fiery sins, man.
I guess so.
Very.
Burn down that guy's house to get rid of the wasps.
That's true. You nearly did. That would have been very funny if that ended up the way it did.
All right, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna swing at it with my my long sword. I don't have a short sword. You have a short sword.
That's a hit.
For 8 damage.
8 damage. You seeing your friend in aid, or in need of aid, you come in and slice at a thing, and because it's not really trying to like stop you, it's just an easy cleave, but again it just sort of like starts cracking and oozing.
Yeah. Went for the ribs.
Virik, give me an animal handling roll.
Oh no! I got lucky once.
The initiative tracker. I was like, what is that? Oh, it's the snake.
Oh no!
Flying snakes. Flying snakes.
That's one of one
Great
way.
mistakes.
We should have put them back in the hallway.
We should have. Fuck.
I didn't even think about it.
Sorry, guys. I was a little eager to
That's okay.
get
Just put out your torches. Just hope they go for the thing. Oh my god.
At this point,
I
they
can't
start.
see any of this
Yeah,
happening.
no, I can't see any of it either.
I'm
This is all
fine.
you do.
Oh my god, that's
I'm just like
terrifying.
looking at Virik and hearing him be like, "Oh god!"
Oh no! Oh gosh!
Oh.
Oh, now I see them.
Oh no.
I still can't see them, so.
no.
You guys are fine. Don't worry about it.
I can see like 3 of them.
Hell no.
Oh, there's more than 3.
Oh yeah, I want to see what the humans can see right now.
Not
I
much.
can't do that on this. That sucks. I can do that on the DM screen. I can't do that on
gonna go over
the
here.
chat's camera. You get to zoom
I'm
in
gonna hit
now on the chaos.
Do you have advantage?
I do not have advantage. Oh, yes, I do. We
You
flank.
do have advantage. Reroll.
Yep.
You are surrounding a thing made of fire. That's gonna go well.
I mean, I assume it will, like,
that.
cone shot in one direction. I hope.
What are you talking about? That's a hit. And then extra holy damage.
Yep. Extra holy damage.
And
Awesome.
you could reroll one of those.
I can reroll the. I'll reroll the 2 too. So I'm already at it.
2/2.
Nice.
Yeah. It's nice. You're cutting away and cleaving at this thing, and it's already sort of like flinching, and like parts of it are kind of sloughing off on the ground where they just turn into ash and fiery nothingness. Virik, as you sort of hear sliding on the ground, the very telltale noise of a snake moving on something cold and coarse like stone, you see very clearly all of
I
the
imagine,
snakes.
He
working
throws the
away.
boomerang. It like misses wildly, lands. Fuck! Oh fuck! So I imagine that one's close enough that if I try to run, he'll stab me or try to bite me.
One
right?
of them will try to bite at you, but only one of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stab that one before I do anything.
Yeah,
Just immediately. Fuck!
that's a hit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the one coming up to you is sort of like rearing up, and like the flaps on its side like open up, kind of like a cobra's hood, but the whole body. And then you're just like, hey! And it's just kind of cut in ribbons.
Yep. Okay. Then I'm gonna with.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny herd snake.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I go in this one, or is that part of the thing? Like, is
One
that-
moment, I can't see you. You can kind of get behind those pillars, I guess.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
wait, I
You're
lost
a
count.
row. You're a
One.
duders.
5, 6, 7. Can I pick up the thing there?
Yep.
Bonus action, pick it up, and that's the end of my turn. I'm just like, nope.
Get out of there.
Yep, get
Next
the fuck
up
out of that.
is the challenger, who is going to make 2 attacks.
Against who, I wonder?
Is one of them an AoE explosive fire attack? Because that would be unfortunate.
That would be very unfortunate.
I just need to move myself back and forth so I can pick up the thing.
He's going to make 1 attack at Tobias, which is actually a miss because you are sort of ducking, weaving out of the way as you do as a ranger. And the second one is going to be against Eleanor, which is actually also a miss. Like, it's one of the things it swings at, like, you dodge out of the way, and it's like, and goes towards you, and you do the thing where you just block with the broadside of the sword, and it just sort of, its hands clash against it. And just embers go towards you, but not much more.
I'd also like to say that while this is all happening, you see Virik just sprinting past as if he's running away from something.
As is not a surprise, and as you should get used to for the rogue is running around during the combat. The monk, I mean. The monk.
The monk, yeah. Right,
Tobias.
yeah.
You're both. You are, as a shadow
Yeah,
monk,
I think
you
this-
are both.
Opportunity. I'm gonna try to get in there with my short swords.
Mm-hmm.
The first
You
one
don't have a bonus.
is
Yeah.
a 13.
That is a miss.
But the second one is less than that.
Good turn, champ.
Hey. That's my turn. I swing a couple of swords.
Barut.
Say, oh man, what is this guy? Made of fire?
Yes.
Oh,
And I'm gonna do something incredibly stupid.
yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna touch it. Maybe.
That's
Oh!
like rule number 1 of going in the dungeon.
Oh,
Don't-
Oh.
of course, wait. Yeah.
Maybe.
I think I understand why. Oh no, that was almost so good.
Wait. Do I have advantage on that?
You do.
Okay, I'll re-roll that. Thank God. Hopefully.
Yay.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. So, for 27.
Why don't you
Oh,
describe
holy
what happens?
So,
There you go.
you see this kind of bit of, it's actually a blinding white energy run over my hand, and I just reach in, and as he turns to Eleanor, I just grab him by the back of the neck, and you just kind of start to see him decay from that point.
Yeah,
Just
like where
fade.
there's fire and magma just becomes like ash the creature does not get defeated. You do not kill it, but you just see like cracks as more ash starts to fall, and then the whole creature, whereas you attack it before and it flinches, it just goes like in complete. I mean, can an elemental feel pain? You don't know. It looks like it is.
Looks like it can. And then I pull my hand away quickly because it is still hot. As soon as the magic
almost like the holy magic has protected your hand.
Almost.
It's still hot though.
It's still real hot and very unpleasant.
The second the spell ends, you're like, fuck!
Next up is some snakes.
So yeah, now you understand what Varric was running from.
What do you mean? Oh god.
I can see them.
Oh,
I'm
hello,
very
Frank.
focused.
A snake sort of runs, slithers up to you, Tobias, and actually, while you're sort of doing this footwork of trying not to get hit and trying to get some stabs in when you dual swords, it kind of lunges between your legs at some point. You're like, what the? But it doesn't hit you or anything like that.
There are snakes here now.
That's why I was running.
What's your armor class?
50.
15. Oh, it hits a 15.
Dang it.
And is going to deal 8 poison damage. As you're sort of you do that, you reel back and you're kind of very slightly impressed that it worked. Then you feel a sharp pain in your leg, just a sort of like a pulse of pain, and you look down and there's just a snake clamped on, kind of where like your boots ends and your armor begins.
Yeah.
There's more snakes. Don't you worry. This is one's gonna fly.
Oh, that's good. Because I was worried.
Oh no!
Be more
Oh
snakes.
no! Hi, buddy. I killed your friend.
Yep, and it's gonna attack you for it. What's your armor class?
13.
Oh, it definitely hits.
Yep.
For 6 poison damage.
Okay.
Then guess what? There's more snakes.
There's a reason why I was running.
This one is going to also bite Barut.
I hope he doesn't.
It does.
Oh no.
It's like while you're trying to pry the other one off, this one actually gets your hand for 7 poison damage.
And I am down.
Holy. Oh no.
Are you down and bleeding or down and out?
Down and bleeding.
Oh no.
I think.
Please put the little Boromir symbol on your token. If you click on your token, there's a little circle button.
Yep.
There's a Boromir symbol.
I'm looking for him.
The one with the arrows in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boromir. This one is a dumb snake, and it goes and attacks the thing made of fire, but then sort of goes like... Next up is Eleanor. It's a snake. It doesn't know not to attack fire. Now it does.
Lesson learned.
You don't have advantage because Barut is unconscious. And you're muted.
I will move over there then, so I can keep it.
That makes sense. You're stepping on a snake, but they're a tiny creature, so you can.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That would be a hit, yeah.
Ooh. 2 things you could reroll.
The 2 things you can reroll, and you have Divine Favor on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, did you roll...
I rolled Divine Favor with
you
that.
actually haven't taken damage yet. It's Barut who took damage. So. Tobias, did you roll concentration for Hunter's Mark?
Oh, I didn't. I can do that now if you
Yeah,
like.
I also always forget.
And then I thought I rolled the right one. I should have rolled my damage with it. Oh well, doesn't matter.
So that is going to be 13
9
damage
plus 4. Yep, 13.
Describe how you kill this fire creature.
Really, there's not much to it. I just bring my greatsword over the top. I cleave down into it, like between the head and the shoulder blade, so like it gets stuck halfway through, and then I pull out.
And then the thing very quickly, like all at once, just with like a roar and kind of like a fire being snuffed out. Just the charred chunks of it fall to the ground as a kind of a plume of ash. Kind of have to hold back from inhaling, but it just disappears very quickly, much quicker than it came. Anything else you want to do?
I will take the attack of opportunity from the snake and move over here if it provokes.
No.
Small, just so I can get ready to heal.
Varric, who is, you know, all the fighting's going on over here. Varric is down here.
I mean, yep. I like how there's like all these horrible things happening over here. You just hear, ah! on the other side of the statue.
The darkness.
Well, Burrett doesn't hear it.
Yeah, he's gonna stab it back in the face.
That is a hit. Snake hit. Virik, snake killer.
Yeah, 2. Okay.
I kind of
then
it bites you and you just kind of like cut its head off its body. There's still a snake head attached
It's,
to you.
stuck on me. I'm like,
Future problem. It's like ants. Some types of ants do that. It's gross.
okay, I am going
But you're
to
not
try
fighting
and
ants, not
do
yet.
monk shit to jump essentially to here. So I want to like jump here, like here, then round to here. Can I do that? Do I have to make an acrobatics?
You can't really do that because you're basically running like through the statue.
Oh, I
So
see.
if you can
okay.
finagle movement, then sure, but like don't.
1, 2, 3,
I can't
4.
really give you the monk jump.
Can I jump over? And
If
then,
Aelinor
like,
is
here?
willing, you can travel through her space,
Oh, okay. So
and you can move
start
through
it
tiny
here.
creature spaces in my
1,
rules.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I can just run.
You can just be
to
there
here.
because you're a monk.
Yep.
Yeah,
Movement.
you did
yeah.
monk shit.
And then
Get monk shit anyway.
I'm gonna punch it with advantage now.
I think you're probably gonna kick it.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna kick it.
That's a hit.
I'm probably actually. You know what? I'm gonna step on it as I go over it.
Vindictively. And
Yes.
the snake's kind of guts come out of its mouth.
Oh, okay.
The challenger is dead.
That's all I can do. Oh, I
Tobias
can move that, and then that's it.
is not.
Which is great, and I'd like to keep it that way if I can.
It's a lot of snakes.
Yeah, these 2 snakes that are by me, you better believe there's a short sword coming towards each. Yeah, like this goes. There's a nat
Oh no!
Oh!
Oh no!
and a nat 20.
You know what? That's balance in all things, right? Roll damage for the 20. So it's one of those things where, like, as you swing with the first one, you actually get completely off balance because there's snakes attacking your legs, and you've dealt with snakes before. But in the moment, it's scary and like just like primal instincts. You like tumble and fall, and as you do, you get the perfect moment where you can just like cut the other snake in 2 parts, just like Aelinor did to the other creature.
Damn!
And sort of catch yourself before you fall. Your 20 counteracted your 1 there.
That is my turn. I do that and try to look as if it was all according to plan.
Baru, give me a death save.
Sure. It doesn't matter. Okay.
You're good. 1 point of life.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're good. You're good for a bit more. Snakes. This one's gonna bite Aelinor.
That is what I was saying. Oh no, to because it rolled a second time.
Oh, it took a while to
didn't
get
go.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aelinor-
it took a little while to get to me too. I was like, oh no, it doesn't matter. It didn't go. It went.
What is your AC? I want to say it's
16.
16. Yes, it actually does not hit a 16. This other snake is going to bite at Tobias. And it doesn't hit you either because you kind of like fell towards it and it like instinctively recoiled quite a far bit distance back and then slithered back. Aelinor.
I am going to lay on hands
Mhm.
for 5
Yeah.
on Barut.
Absolutely. Barut comes very suddenly back to consciousness. As an elf, being unconscious is a very, very surreal experience because it's the closest you get to sleep.
It's turned off for a second.
Yeah, you're just sort of off and then back.
And then
Very
move
weird.
over here. And that's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sharing with space with him,
Yeah.
or right next to the little guy.
Little guy, little friendly
Okay.
snake.
Okay.
I also want to point out that these snakes are blue. I just don't have a blue snake.
Okay.
Just so you know, little blue snakes.
Vyric's gonna run up here and take a stab at this one.
Can you monk your way over to the other one after this?
Yes, I can.
Dang monks.
There's a reason why I kill them all the time. That's a hit.
Yeah.
Stab. And then. So is that one dead?
Yeah, it is.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just gonna stomp on it. Just jump up and down on it.
You've got an 8, including the movement you just did. Do you have enough movement to do that? Because remember you went up.
Yes, because I have 40 speed.
Oh, you have 40. I thought you had 35 for it. No, because that's wood elves. Yes, you hit.
And then stomp.
Yeah, you run over and stomp, and I completely imagine that when, like, after that, you're like, are they gone?
All of them?
And you look around,
what
and
I do
it's...
for that last one is I jump over Aelinor and land on it by accident. I'm like, oh. Is that it? Are they done?
And they are done, and conveniently, Barut is conscious when you come back. So,
I hate poison things.
Around here.
Things with stingers, they all suck.
and with that, why don't we go on a break? We'll be back in 5 snakes. Oh.